At some point, every soon-to-be retiree asks the same question. Do I have enough? It's the question that drives retirement calculators, portfolio projections, and endless spreadsheets. It's also the question that causes many people to delay retirement, not because the numbers don't work, but because of the uncertainty. It just doesn't feel resolved. And that's what I found out over the years is enough is rarely a fixed number. It's a feeling, and that feeling tends to shift no matter how much you've saved. One year, you're focused on getting to a certain dollar amount, and the next year, that amount just doesn't feel quite as safe as it used to. And suddenly, you're moving the goalposts, even if you're already in a great financial position. Hello, I'm Scott Norris. I'm an investment advisor with Royal Fund Management and the owner of Nexus Financial Group. I help people retire with clarity by building income plans that support both the math and the mindset. Because let's be honest, you can have all the savings you thought you needed and still feel unsure, or you have less than you'd hope for and still retire with peace of mind. So in today's video, I want to break down why enough can be such a slippery target, and more importantly, what to focus on instead so you can move forward with confidence. So let's get started. Part 1, why enough keeps shifting. Let's start with something that I see all the time. Someone walks into my office and says, Scott, I've run the numbers and I think once I get to $1 million, I'll be ready. But then later they're focusing on 1.1 million and they say, actually, I'd feel a bit better with 1.3. Then they hit the 1.3. Now the markets are volatile or inflation is up, or they think more about healthcare, and suddenly enough moves again. Why does this happen? Because typically, looking at your income, enough isn't a number, it's a moving target. It shifts based upon what's happening around you. The economy, the news, a friend who's already retired, a parent who might need care, a change in your own lifestyle or goals. It shifts based upon what's happening inside of you. The fear of running out, the uncertainty of the future, guilt about spending what you've already saved, or the desire to leave something behind. So while it can be tempting to chase a specific dollar amount, most people are really chasing a feeling, security, control, and confidence. And that feeling doesn't always come when the portfolio crosses a certain threshold. It comes when you understand how your plan is actually working, how income will flow, and how taxes will be managed, and how the plan adapts if life doesn't go exactly as we've planned. Part 2, the real question behind enough. When someone says, I'm just not sure I have enough, they're almost never talking about math alone. They've likely run the numbers already. They've seen the projections. Maybe they've talked with their advisor, or an online calculator says, yes, you're on track, but they still feel unsettled. Why is that? Because do I have enough is often a surface level question. Underneath it, it's something much more personal. Will I be okay if the unexpected happens? Can I live the life I want, or will I have to cut back? What if I stop working and I regret it? Will I lose the flexibility or control? Will my spouse be okay if something happens to me? These aren't financial questions, they're emotional ones. And the reason the number keeps shifting is because it's never just about the numbers. This is where a lot of retirement plans will fall short. They show you your account balance, they give you the average rate of return, maybe they even show you some type of an analysis. But what they often don't show you is how that money is actually going to turn into income, how your taxes will evolve over time, and how to protect against inflation, long-term care, or market drops, and how to spend with confidence without constantly worrying about the what-ifs. So when someone tells me that they're not sure they have enough, I don't just look at their portfolio. So I ask, do you know what your monthly retirement paycheck is going to look like? Do you know where it's coming from and how that's going to affect your tax bill? Have you stress tested the plan for market drops or unexpected expenses? Have you thought about how your spending might shift over time? Because I think when those questions get answered clearly, the fear behind, do I have enough, tends to fade away. Part 3, what to focus on instead of the number. So if enough keeps moving, and if the real question is about security, not just savings, then what should you focus on? You focus on what gives you actual control in retirement. Not a static number, but a living plan built around what I call 3 key pillars. Number 1, cash flow, not just net worth. This is a really big one. Most people spend their working years focused on how much they've saved, but once they retire, the question becomes, how does that savings turn into income that I can actually rely on? Because you don't retire on your total portfolio value, you retire on your ability to generate sustainable income month after month. That means building a plan that blends well with all of your retirement accounts, such as your 401k, your IRAs, your Roths, TSPs, or even a 457, any pension or rental income streams that you might have, and any taxable accounts. A solid plan just doesn't show you how much money you have, it can show you how much money you can use, and in what order, and how to reduce taxes along the way. 2. Flexibility, not rigidity. It's the key to flexibility. Even the best plans can face curveballs. A market correction in your early retirement years, higher than expected inflation, unexpected health expense, or simply changes in how you want to live. A rigid withdrawal schedule or overly tight budget can create unnecessary stress when your life shifts. But a flexible plan can give you options like pulling from a savings account or a fixed account when the markets are down, maybe reducing taxable withdrawals when you have a high income year. I believe it's not about predicting every outcome. It's about building a plan that can bend without breaking. Number 3, confidence, not perfection. The third focus is often the most overlooked, confidence. So many people delay retirement not because their plan doesn't work well, but because they didn't believe that it's going to work in real life. They've seen the numbers, but they still wonder, what if something goes wrong? What if I spend too much early on? What if I live longer than I think I might? This is where I feel scenario testing and real planning conversations matter. When you've looked at different plans, good, bad, and in between, and when you understand how your plan responds to each of them, you may stop feeling like retirement is a risk and start seeing it as a stage you've actually prepared for. So don't focus on hitting a magic number. Focus on a plan that answers, what can I spend? Where should it come from? How can I adapt when life changes? That's what creates confidence. That is what makes retirement feel less like a gamble and more like a strategy. So let me know when you're ready, because our goal is to bring it all together and guide our viewers to take their next step. So let's come back to that first question. Do I have enough to retire? It's a fair question, and it's usually an important one, but it can also be one that keeps you spinning your wheels, especially if you treat it like a finish line you have to cross. Because the truth is, enough is a moving target, and it typically always will be if you define it by a number alone. Markets will change. Life is gonna change. So do your priorities, goals, and concerns. That's why focusing on the number without the full plan behind it can leave you feel stuck, second-guessing your decisions, even when the math says you're ready. But here's what I want you to take away. You don't need a bigger number. You need a better plan. A plan that helps you turn your savings into a reliable income stream, minimize your tax burden over time, and adapt to life's uncertainties. And a plan that helps you feel confident that you're not retiring into guesswork, but a strategy. If that's what you want, you're most likely looking for clarity, not just reassurance. Book a call with me using the link in the description below. We're going to look at where you are now, where you want to go, and build a plan that helps you get there with confidence, so you're not left wondering, is it enough? You're going to know, because I believe retirement is a process, not an event, that it doesn't require guesswork, it requires a plan.